right, welcome back to Microsoft Ignite. All right, with the show of hands, can we have a round of applause if you want to get more work done by doing less? Applause. I love that we found the theme of the conference after like 30 minutes, which is how can we do less work, yet stay as productive for our companies and businesses? So I promised all of these fine people that I would corral you to and ask you a bunch of like deeply personal questions about customers. So I'd like to welcome to the stage two of the hardest working people we know, Scott Guthrie and Alyssa Taylor. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So both Scott and Judson talked about some of the challenges all of our customers all over the world are having, and things that, universal themes of difficulties people are facing. What are some of the major themes that you two are seeing as you go out and do your customer engagements and conversations?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, if you think back to the last couple of years, the world's gone through a lot, and a lot of these things we've been going through together, really as a global society, and technology was actually key to really enabling, work from home, hybrid, and a whole bunch of things. And we're in an era right now where there's more turbulence on the horizon. Whether it's continuing supply chain issues, whether it's inflation, whether it's interest rates and energy crisis in Europe, and then you think back to kind of how do we continue to kind of grow the skills and the capabilities across organizations to kind of confront these challenges. And I think technology is going to be key going forward again as we kind of collectively deal with these types of challenges. And the good news is, and it's part of what's the fun of this conference is hearing some of the stories of companies, that are thriving despite all the challenges, and are again using technology to kind of surmount those. And so, I think this week, for example, there's good sessions talking about supply chain reinvention, and Mercedes Benz is a great example where they're using things like our Azure data services, things like our supply chain software and Biz Apps and Dynamics, to kind of really reinvent how they run their factories and how they coordinate their supply chain. I think you'll hear from like FedEx, who is obviously in the logistics business and has lots of retailers that are trying to figure out how to confront inflation, and so anything they can do to kind of lower shipping costs and lower logistics costs makes a big difference. And they're using Dynamics 365, and they've been able to lower several percentage points in terms of overall logistics to their customers. And then obviously, for anyone in Europe right now, the energy crisis that they're facing in terms of both availability of energy and then obviously the cost of it is a big deal. And we're working with manufacturers across Europe to look at ways to use things like digital twins and the industrial metaverse to kind of really understand how their factories are running and how do they actually go ahead and reduce those costs. And Coca-Cola Hellenic Bottling is a great example of one of those customers doing that. And then for events like this, obviously it's about skilling, it's about training. Our Microsoft Learn Online is being used heavily as well. And as Satya just talked in the keynote, how do we use low-code, no-code tools to also kind of democratize as much of the technology as we can to as much of the employee population as we can. And we've got great examples like PG&E here in the United States that have already used low-code, no-code, used the skilling capabilities, and they've reduced more than 75,000 hours of employee time and have line of sight to reduce 600,000 hours of tasks that are manual today, all by automating, all by transforming their business. So, lots of headwind, but lots of opportunity, and that's what this conference is really all about is, how do we address that opportunity together?
No, absolutely. And Alyssa, you get in front of customers, every day, multiple times a day. What are some of the things you're hearing?
Well, Scott touched on the macro trends that we're seeing, but we also see very specific micro trends across every industry. And that's because every industry is unique. We just talked about a few that Scott gave examples on, but if you think about the difference between manufacturing to retail to healthcare, they're all facing very unique situations. And if I just zoom into healthcare in particular, one of the greatest challenges in healthcare right now is physician burnout. In 2020, 50% of physicians had already reported burnout. That was before the pandemic. So think about what that does in terms of a healthcare organization being able to provide quality care. It really impacts that. And I think technology is not the end-all be-all to solve that, but technology can play a really interesting role in being able to help the healthcare industry. And there's a bunch of different organizations that are working on this. One that we partner with, WellSpan, has actually adopted Nuance's Dragon Ambient Experience technology with Dynamics 365. And they're using that technology to provide the physicians with a device. That ambient technology will actually record the interaction between the physician, analyze that, and then put all of that data into the patient engagement and the electronic health record. And so what that does for a physician is three very important things. One, it takes time out of all of that manual data entry that they'd have to do. Two, it actually acts as an assistant, so it can take the insights from that data and provide predictive medicine and predictive recommendations. And then I would say third, and the most important, is that it frees up time for the physician to spend with the patient, to provide them that quality care. And so it's this combination of what organizations have to do at the macro level, what they're facing uniquely in their industry, and how we can partner and help. And I think we'll see a lot of that today and tomorrow throughout Ignite of how technology can help organizations in both dimensions.
I'm so glad you said that, because as we get in front of customers, all of us, many of you, customers are saying, that's really cool, you have all these parts to the Microsoft Cloud, but for us to take all these pieces and put them together is actually a lot of work, especially if, again, we've got a huge talent shortage in the world. Not everyone is a software engineer. So they really rely on these industry clouds to bring all these together specifically for industries. And like you're saying, healthcare, manufacturing, these ain't the same industry. So what are some things that you'd love to share with everyone about the magic of how these industry clouds work?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of what we've tried to do with the Microsoft Cloud is provide really capability across a broad spectrum of horizontal capabilities. Yeah. Whether it's productivity software, whether it's cloud infrastructure, whether it's data and AI, whether it's business applications, security, low-code, no-code, et cetera. And I think we've got by far the broadest and deepest cloud from a core capability perspective, and it spans not just infrastructure but all the way to SaaS. And the ability to kind of put those things together. You don't have to use it all together, but the ability to kind of leverage those pieces, really enables much faster time to value, and kind of ultimately leads to lower cost and the ability to kind of do more with less that we've been talking about at this event. Now, what we're trying to do also then is say, okay, let's take that horizontal capability and then also think about how do we further tailor it even more to these industries, like retail and healthcare and manufacturing and financial services and more. And so, we're still primarily breadth and horizontal, but we're really looking first at like what security or compliance or other regulatory needs can we meet and make sure that we kind of take healthcare, meet HIPAA, meet all of the HIPAA equivalents around the world in terms of those certifications. And then we look at what's the ecosystem. So, in addition to kind of the Nuance, which is a Microsoft first party, but how do we think about others in the healthcare space that are delivering solutions and integrate them with our overall Microsoft Cloud? So make sure they work in teams, make sure they work with our Power Platform and our low-code, no-code tools, make sure they run on Azure, et cetera. And then, we are going to look at how do we further tailor our own capabilities, for a particular industry. And so, I talked earlier about Mercedes-Benz that's using us in manufacturing. Bosch would be another great example of a customer and partner of ours that's using really the totality of the Microsoft Cloud in manufacturing. And the ability to take digital twins, which are run on Azure, use AI and our alerting technology to do anomaly detection. And then when an alert fires, how do you then use Teams with Remote Assist, with HoloLens to investigate, and then ultimately Dynamics 365 with Field Service to be able to coordinate, let's say, a support ticket. And the ability to use all of those together along with a whole bunch of great partners and other software solutions built by others that are integrated, again, helps us kind of accelerate on a per industry basis, and hopefully, again, keep driving that do more with less mantra that we've been talking about today.
Do more with less, right? This has been coming up over and over again.
Yes.
Yeah, are you seeing that from the customers you're talking to as well? Is this what they're craving?
we've kind of highlighted different organizations and different industries, but I think if you build upon that, really it's the people in an organization, right? Because people are the fuel. They bring the creativity, the optimism, they deliver the results. And so as we think about technology, we'll talk about productivity, but I actually like the CEO of Crayon, a woman named Melissa Mulholland, actually phrased it as technology is the enabler for people to free people up to focus on what matters the most.
Love that.
And so in Crayon's example, what matters the most is that they deliver exceptional customer value. And a technology that they're implementing is Microsoft Viva Sales. Satya talked about it in the keynote. And that technology takes all of the disparate sales data, so what data lives in a CRM system, what data lives in email, all that customer information, actually aggregates it and brings it into the environment that a salesperson lives in every single day, which is Microsoft Office and Teams. But it goes beyond streamlining the data. It's actually about the AI-enabled insights that it then provides to that salesperson. So they get a holistic view of their customer, they understand customer preference, they can do kind of the sentiment analysis of a customer. So all of that is in pursuit of providing exceptional value, which is Crayon's mission. And so we talk about do more with less, but it's also about putting people first. And Viva Sales is a great example. We'll see a lot throughout the conference of where technology is able to do just that. It's to put people first.
You know, I love that you both are talking about this where it's not just, here's all the tech, do stuff with it. It's how can we, Microsoft, who've created this, help you actually use it the best. Choose exactly what you need specifically for your organization and implement to empower your customers, your employees. I think that's super, super powerful. So in addition to these topics around the cloud, which I love, obviously, we know that a core priority for Microsoft is trust, right? It's a big topic. Satya talked about it, Judson talked about it. Big theme in the world right now. And we found recently, a study by IDC showed that 90% of CEOs consider trust between their organization and their technology suppliers to be a top priority. Not one of, but a top priority. What do you two think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think trust is obviously paramount in terms of thinking about cloud and really running your business.
Yeah.
And I think trust starts with the platform. Both in terms of the technology, in terms of, I mentioned, compliance, security, and both the operational role we have, but also like what are the security controls and products that we offer so that you can also protect your own applications and your own custom workflows and logic as well. And then also it comes down to business model alignment. I mean, I think part of what's made Microsoft a trusted partner is the fact that we don't compete with our customers. We're not a retailer. We're not in a bunch of the industries that, say, some of our other hyperscale competitors are in. And that also needs to build, helps build deeper business trust, because at the end of the day, as you digitize more, you really need to know the platform's secure, and you really need to know your partner is going to be there trying to make you successful. And I think, we're unique in that, and we're trying to extend it even further in terms of how we deliver it. 20 years ago, we pioneered the secure development lifecycle, which has kind of been essential for software. We're also trying to pioneer now responsible AI. As you think about as AI becomes more intrinsic, as data becomes more intrinsic, how do we make sure that our models don't have bias? How do we make sure that we're training these models and not sucking up our customer data incorrectly? Our customers' data is their data. Again, going back to the technology and the business model trust. But how do we let them use AI to kind of augment and make their data even more powerful? So, I think we're also really pioneering trust on the AI side, in addition to kind of obviously the operational and software side as well. And then, just from a scale perspective, I think what makes us unique is just the fact that we're doing this on such a broad scale. Yeah. We process more than 43 trillion security signals per day now, and we've issued more than 70 billion alerts over the past year in terms of anomalous activities that we've helped warn customers about to help, again, protect their workloads and their applications and their employees. And so you'll continue to see us deeply, deeply invest in trust going forward.
I love that. I think it's incredibly important. And like you're saying, it is our responsibility. We do not compete with our customers, and people look to us to role model the behavior that they like in their organizations,
Yeah.
right? And I know you have a lot of conversations about this.
Well, Scott talked a lot about how we are embedding trust into the solutions and services that we provide, but you also touched on the importance of trusting an organization you partner with. And I think more and more we see organizations gravitate to like-minded organizations that share similar values. Yeah. And that's really been an evolution of the world holds organizations to a higher standard than just profitability. Like if you think about what's happening at the board level and what the board expects, but then there's also the value that you're providing to your customers and to consumers. And it meets in the middle at this notion of value-based success metrics, and we've seen the industry go to that. And a great example of value and organizations providing value is sustainability. There is a phenomenal stat. So over 70% of millennials will take a purchasing decision on whether or not a good or service is sustainable. That's radically different than anything we've ever seen before. And so when you think about how do organizations meet those types of objectives for their consumers, we at Microsoft actually have been on our own sustainability journey, and we took all of the learnings around how we would reduce our carbon emission footprint. We packaged up that IP, and we just recently announced the Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability. And our goal with that is to not only continue to, at Microsoft, reduce our carbon footprint, but enable our customers, our ecosystem, to take that technology and be able to reduce, report, record, and ultimately bring down carbon emissions and the global carbon footprint. So it's a great example of providing value, but also making sure that an organization meets their objectives and all of us coming together to make the planet a better place.
Okay, not to get on my soapbox, but I'm about to get on my soapbox. Sustainability, so important. And like you're saying, 70% of millennials and Gen Z make buying decisions based on sustainability and accessibility, just pointing that out, of the organization that they're doing business with. We hear it over and over again. And I absolutely love that we at Microsoft have, empower everyone on the planet to do the thing written on our badge, but we live it every day in how we do that work. Right, how we do that work to make a better planet for generations to come. And those of you here at Ignite Seattle will notice that this is a swag-free event because we're trying to be more sustainable. It turns out a lot of that swag ends up in landfills, which does not help any sustainability cause. So Scott and Alyssa, thank you so much for joining us. What are some last words you have? Wisdom, inspiration, anything for this audience?
Wisdom and inspiration. Okay. Well, I would say, we've talked, you've heard the themes, and I will, for the rest of the time at Ignite, and thank you everyone for being here, you'll hear, do more with less, as you talked about, putting people first, and this notion of trust, and trusting your cloud provider, trusting the organizations you work with. And so these are the core themes that'll be threaded throughout, and I'm just so excited that we get to be back in person and digitally, and it's phenomenal to be here. So thank you, Donna, for having us.
Thank you. And Scott?
Yeah, no, and I think just building on everything that Alyssa said in terms of how do we enable in this time, how do you keep doing more with less? I think also just really how do we enable every organization and everyone here and everyone into helping support organizations to really drive the digital agenda. I mean, I think we've seen with COVID, technology was essential to help the world get through. Both in terms of keep running businesses, providing vaccines and everything we've had to go through. And I think hopefully that's also been a real clear call of just how impactful technology can be to every organization. And I think the years ahead, let's keep using that technology. Let's keep solving the hard problems that both face our immediate organizations, but the world at large, like sustainability. And I think it's going to be an exciting future as we kind of leverage more and more of this tech to do better and better things. So looking forward to the conversations this week, and looking forward to the feedback. And let's go and take advantage of this opportunity together.
I love that. Just a pro tip for everyone. I know that everybody has talked about OpenAI and GitHub Copilot and Power Automate automatic flows and Power Apps ideas. Use them. If you haven't used them, I know no one asked me, but I'm asking me now. Use them because there's nothing better than watching a machine do the most boring parts of your job. It's actually the coolest thing ever. It is magic, you know. We get to make magic every single day, and I feel so fortunate to be here with all of you and both of you to, you know, do this Ignite thing. All right, we're gonna toss back to the studio. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.